Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Skies Let's Play. Still here, still working on generating some sodium. It's building up. I've got my pipes run all the way over there. I'm not going to switch over my stuff yet because I still need to build up a lot more sodium before I can actually flip that machine off of water. There's also a few more machines that I need to build to potentially aid in the uh, transfer of water to sodium. We are still running strong with our fusion reactor, so I will get some stuff put together super quick for what we need to do to switch that over to sodium, and I'm going to do some of that crafting off camera, but I will show you the results when we get right back. One more thing before I put my sodium in here, which I'm still waiting on it to back up a little bit, so that way I've got a little bit of a backlog and a back stuff of it, is I'm going to make a boiler for the superheated that is going to come out. So if I look up sodium, when sodium goes into the machine, it's going to come out as superheated sodium. And then that superheated sodium needs somewhere to go. So it needs to go into a boiler. I'm not going to try to pronounce that word. Thermoelectric. That makes sense. Thermoelectric boiler. It's got to go in there with some water, and that's going to turn it back into sodium and steam. And steam is obviously going to be able to come back out into my turbine right here. So to make that, it's a 5x5 by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And then that's just got to be casing on all sides. And across here. I do also have some structural glass that I'm going to use. So I can actually see inside the building structure. So I'm going to just do all of this super quick off camera until we get to like the super important bits. We have reached the time for super important bits. The super important bits are going to be these superheating elements. Those need to go along the bottom here. And then some pressure dispensers need to go up top. I think right, nope, wrong block. I think right about here is where they need to go. And that's just going to help with steam, and then those red particles obviously mean that everything is good, other than the fact that I need my boiler valves in here. So I need valves here and valves here. So this is going to input from here. This is going to input the superheated sodium once that gets processed. And then this here is going to output steam, which is going to go back into the turbine. I think I'm going to lose my ability to make steam here because it's going to replace my superheated coolant of steam into my superheated coolant of superheated sodium, and then that's going to come in here. That's going to produce and turn into steam, which I can then output and keep my steam turbine going. So all that being said, let's come over here super quick and check on my sodium situation. I went ahead and kind of got all of this back stuffed a little bit, so this is still draining, so eventually it's going to come out at like a rate of, I think my injection rate over there is 2. But this is still backstuffing on brine, which means eventually this is going to backstuff on brine, which means I'm going to start backstuffing on sodium. We'll get to that when we get to it, because this obviously has a very large tank that it needs to fill up. I am sitting at 100, or I'm sorry, 1.24 MK heat wise. I could probably bump that up a little bit if I wanted to. Let's try 20,000 and we'll see how hot this can get. Because the hotter this is, the faster it goes, which technically means I also need to make this one a little bit hotter. It's just also going to suck out a lot of power, which is starting to make this system choke a little bit. Maybe I should try like 15. That seems to be kind of stabilizing itself. Really, this is the one that just needs to be moving a little bit faster right now. So we're sitting at 31. Here we're sitting at 1.29. So this is just going to have to fill up. This is going to have to back stuff. So that's going to take a minute before we are able to actually start inputting our sodium into our fission reactor. I wish there was a way, and if you know of a way, leave a comment, that I can just transport sodium without having to use these pipes or tubes or whatever, because that's that it's taking up a lot, and that has a large buffer as well. But we'll figure that part out. I've looked at different ways. I don't know of any way of being able to transport gases. So give it just a little bit longer. I'm going to let this brine fill up, which is probably going to be 10,000 buckets. So we'll be back. Well, had a bit of an issue. Went to go try to turn on my reactor with some sodium in it. And kind of had a bit of a meltdown. Definitely had a meltdown. Didn't properly accommodate. And now we've got sulfur bees everywhere. I don't know why. Didn't know if that's like a side effect of something. Not 100% sure, but I'm going to look for... There's one guy right here that I'm going to try and do something with. But that's its own thing. So, I don't know what the next move is. So give me some time to figure something out. One thing I'm going to try to take advantage of during this nuclear meltdown is that I have some radioactive bees that I'm going to try and put in here that might die from the nuclear waste meltdown. And if it dies, it has a chance of turning into a nuclear waste bee, which I could then turn into nuclear waste to be making some other stuff. So we're going to try and see if this little guy dies from radiation poisoning. And if he does, cool. Hopefully I don't die first, but it's going to take a little over an hour and a half for all of this stuff to go away. I may not be able to make all of my antimatter containers right now because I have to wait to refill my fission reactor with sodium, which it is doing. I was able to just wait forever and actually get the radiation gone and taken care of. But I can make enough of this stuff maybe to get the reward for it. So I just need to make one of those I need to make the port, which is going to actually take 4 of these, which is why I wanted to try and make more of that. But I need some HDPE sheets, which I think I can just make, right? That doesn't, yeah, okay. So I just need 2 more of these. Then I can make 1 of these once I get an ultimate control circuit. That gets me this guy. And then 2 more ultimate. And this laser guy, which is going to take some reinforced alloy. Then it's going to take a steel casing. And 2 of these guys. So that gets me that. That gets me my super coil, which then gets me my chemical crystallizer, which I can take up here, and it takes liquid lithium and turns it into lithium dust, because that is what I'm going to need for my mech suit, because I need to be able to make the basic induction, and that takes lithium dust. Lithium dust in a crystallizer comes from just lithium. So let me get up to my generators again, and you can see I just rebuilt this. It's slowly but surely filling up on sodium. I went ahead and made a second thermal evaporator, and this is producing my brine, which is going to then make sodium. I just need to mess with the temperatures a little bit back here. So let's bump that up to like 1,000, and we'll see. I think the max that this can output is like 360. So if I can get it to 360 and then just cut it off, that will give me what I need. So if I've got lithium coming out here, I can put my crystallized chamber down. And then I can just power that. Super easy enough. We'll just power it there. That's going to steal some of my lithium, but I'm pretty good right now with tritium. So that's going to get me lithium dust, and I kind of just need a way to get that into my system, which I think the closest cable system that I've got is over here. But for now, I'm just going to let it kind of run and do its thing. And we'll get maybe like a stack of lithium. And then while that's going, I'll run some cable. So that should be good. And then I just kind of need an importer, which is going to go here. And that's going to be items. This is going to output items to the left and the right. And then I can just come down this way. Probably use my shrinking tool if I need to. But I'm just going to run this cable all the way across, so we'll be right back. We have our lithium dust coming in. It's going into a storage drawer down at the bottom. So what specifically was I working on? I need 4 of these, so basic induction. It might be easy enough to just teach it to my system, but we'll see. So I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That should get me. I think I need 16. 2, 3, 4. All right, and then I need, well, a few of these. So I need 4 steel casing. Just go ahead and make like 10 of those. Shouldn't take too long to make. So basic energy I can actually go ahead and make in my system. So I need 4 of these. And then that might eat up some of my energy tablets, so I may need to... Alright, so basic energy. Did that eat up some of my steel casing? No, okay. So did it eat up some of my basic... No, not the basic control. So energy tablets. So I still need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 15, 16 should be good enough. And then some mecha suit. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Then I need 4 ultimate control circuits. And then I think I've already made up my HDPE sheets. I just need, well, maybe I need to make a few more of those. HDPE, because probably some other crafting stuff used them up. And then I think the last thing was some netherite armor, which I have in my system. So a netherite helmet, chest piece, legs, and boots. Should be all I need. Because then that's going to be the helm. That's going to be the chest. That's going to be the pants. And that's going to be the boots. So technically, that means we're done with mechanism. Technically. Like, that finished out our mechanism. You can see that it's green. Green is good. Means we're good to go. So I can be done with mechanism. I just want to get my reactor turned back on, which doesn't have to be done on camera. I just kind of wanted to show the process towards what I was doing to finish out mechanism. So we're good now. What does this do? Advanced workbench capable of installing and removing modules from the suit. Okay, so yeah, this mech suit like needs upgrades and stuff, but it's gonna get charged from my wireless charging. I'm just going to also need to then be able to put upgrades and stuff in it. So we will see what stuff needs to be done with that. So laser, so radiation shielding, could have used that. Jetpack unit, I for sure want. Charge distribution unit, elytra unit, solar recharging unit. Used, that can change the color. Refracts and safely dissipates lasers that hit any mech suit. Yeah, so... cool. So let's see what I can do with some of those. What does it take to craft these? Let's do specifically radiation. So that's going to take some module cards. So we'll just go ahead and make a few of those. So radiation shielding. Jetpack unit. Needs some reinforced alloy. We'll just make a handful of those. Elytra unit. And then there's a lot more, it looks like. So space breathing, very cool. Space fire. Acid, gravity normalization, energy color, laser, radiation. So let's see if I can come down here and if I can add radiation. So radiation shielding is on my helmet now. Very cool. So it stacks to 1. So does that mean I can put 1 on each level? So which one was radiation shielding? So let's just make a second one and see if I can put it on this, for example. Okay, so it looks like it'll take one per armor piece. So this will now have radiation shielding. This now has radiation shielding. And are they already on? Does it just automatically do it? It probably does. So let me do 2 more radiation shielding for the pants and the boots. This is also going to need to take power from somewhere. And the boots. And then I'm just going to look through some of these and figure out what works best, like what I think I would need on all of this. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me build my mech suit. So give me just a little bit. I will check how much time we have left on this episode, and we will see where we need to go from there. Before I wrap up this episode, I just wanted to quickly go over some of the upgrades that I put into my mecha suit. So if we come in here, actually, no, not in there. If I go here, I put color boost on all of my, color modulation on all of my suit, just for fun. So the radiation shielding is exactly what it sounds like. It protects me from any radiation should there be a meltdown up there, which there was, and I didn't know it, because not only did the whole place not turn green like it did last time, I'm not getting radiation poisoning. So I'm going to go check on that at some point, but we're not going to super worry about it right now. On my helmet, I put vision enhancement, which pretty much gives me like a night vision kind of thing. And I can enable and disable that. I may not use that as much because it does give it kind of a weird green tint that I'm not a fan of. It doesn't really make that much of a difference as far as brightness goes, but who knows. It does in some ways, like you can see those little dark shadows over there, it does make those brighter, but not enough to compensate the weird green. It also has hotkey options, which is what I was using to change that. Electrolytic breathing is pretty cool. So the electrolytic breathing has the ability to fill my jetpack as needed. It also gives me the ability to breathe underwater. So that's really cool. So I no longer have to go up to my generators and to fill my jetpack with oxygen. It just automatically has that. Which brings me down to the fact that I now have a jetpack installed in my mecha suit. So I can just use that, or I can go into hover mode and just kind of float around. So that's really cool. Or I can just turn it off. Then I also have radiation shielding in this and the color in this. There's a few other ones that I might eventually put in the body armor, but I can't until I get antimatter. Like there's an elytra upgrade unit and stuff like that, but like I said, I need antimatter for that, so I'm not going to super worry about it right now. I put radiation shielding in the leggings, and the pants is what they're called. Then I've got locomotive boosting, which gives me a sprint boost. I've got a motorized servo unit, which if I'm shifting, lets me walk faster while I'm shifting, which is really cool. I do like that a lot. And then a jump boost. I can jump a little bit farther than normal. And then you can see that I've got step assist, which brings me down to the boots, which the hydraulic propulsion unit gives me a jump boost and a step assist, and the locomotive gives me the sprint boost. So I actually had some of that backwards. So you can see now that I can sprint a lot faster. That comes from the legs, and then the jump boost comes from the boots. And then a gyroscopic stabilization unit. I don't know what that does yet. It says something about walking as if I'm on solid ground, but I'm always walking on solid ground, so I really don't 100% know what that does. But I just wanted to show you all the stuff that went into my into all of my stuff, and you can see that if I put it down here, I have the ability to like actually remove them. So that's kind of cool. And I think that's it. I think that's all I need to show you for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later.